Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Money in the Bank 2016 preview and predictions.
Yo guys, John alongside my cohort and commentary Ashton for our Money in the Bank preview and predictions. And I gotta say, I'm really excited for this show, if for no other reason, the Money in the Bank ladder match itself. But I gotta say, Ashton, what's unique about this Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and I guess you could say this about all pay-per-views in a way, but it's really explicit this year, the pressure that WWE have put on themselves. They have outright called this the greatest Money in the Bank pay-per-view in history. On paper, I could see it. Execution, let's say I'm more on the pessimistic side. For my anticipation of this show, I'd say I'm in that 8 to 9 range out of 10. I mean, it's really high, almost fever pitch. I guarantee you we will be 10 by the time Sunday rolls around. What are your thoughts about Money in the Bank? You know, the build-up, your hype, everything.
Well, it's weird because when we talk about WrestleMania cards, typically we talk about a card that has anywhere from 9 to 11 matches on it, right?
That's correct.
And those are 4-hour shows.
Yes.
Plus 2-hour pre-shows.
Yes.
This card has 10 matches on it, including the pre-show.
And it's still only the standard 3 hours, from what we understand. I have not heard any announcement about an extended length.
It's 3 hours. If it was longer than that, we would have been hearing it for the last month.
Exactly. So you could probably expect some quick bouts, I would imagine, which will be, I guess, very interesting.
Well, the thing is, at least half of this card feels like something you would see just on any given episode of Monday Night Raw that doesn't need to be on a pay-per-view.
And I would certainly agree. I mean, 3 kickoff matches is unheard of. I mean, the most we've ever gotten in most pay-per-views is 2. So, we have seen that before.
Has it been confirmed that Ziggler Corbin is on the pre-show? Because I'm looking on Wikipedia here, and it looks like it's part of the main card now.
I heard from WWE themselves, when the announcers would plug it and promote it, that it is a kickoff matchup.
Okay.
That's my understanding, unless they change it. WWE is prone to change things.
I'm reading now. There's a little tidbit here that talks about Corbin Ziggler, and it says on June 13th, a match pitting the two was scheduled for the Money in the Bank pre-show. So you are right. There are 3 pre-show matches on this card, which means 7 main show matches.
Yes.
Including a 6-man Money in the Bank that's almost definitely going to go for at least a half hour.
Exactly.
This is really a card that you only need 4 of the matches on it, and everything else is filler.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
And they've been building it that way, too, because they've been putting a lot of emphasis on the 4 big matches, which, just in case people aren't sure which matches I'm talking about specifically, Roman Rollins, the Money in the Bank ladder match, Cena Styles, and the tag title match.
Yes.
They've been putting all of their build behind those 4 matches, and everything else just kind of meh, fall as it may.
Exactly. So, with that said, do you want to just start opening up this card and going through it?
I guess so. Obviously, we want to start on the pre-show, so, I mean, there's one match on this pre-show that I don't even know how it got made in the first place. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know what the motivation is. The Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys.
Really? Because my understanding and my research, I mean, of course, I'm going to defer to you and say that you're right, but I thought the third pre-show match was Golden Truth versus Breezango.
That's also happening.
Whoa, so wait a minute, the third pre-show match, so just so we're all clear then, would be Ziggler Corbin. 2 tag matches and this match?
Yeah.
What? That's really weird. What?
Well, you said that there were 3 pre-show matches.
Yeah, I just didn't know that Lucha Dragons and Dudleys was one of them. I thought the Divas tag was part of the kickoff, honestly. I didn't think that made the big card.
No, it's not.
Oh, well, okay.
You gotta fit the women's champion on the main show somehow, right?
I guess so. Yeah, that's my mistake. My apologies, everybody. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming either. I'm just as surprised as you are looking at the card right now.
Honestly, Ashton, the Lucha Dragons have been on the decline. I say a Dudley's win here. I say they go over in this match.
these teams have both been on the decline, though. Like, the
Yeah.
Dudley Boys just spent the last month and a half getting their asses whipped by one guy.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, Dudleys have had a difficult go of it. So you look at both teams on the decline. You know what? Thinking about it in that perspective, Kalisto did just come off recently of a United States Championship run. Maybe the Lucha Dragons will win because Kalisto's the most credible guy in the match to me.
Yeah,
So,
I think I'm going to pick the Lucha Dragons too, and not even specifically because of Kalisto, but just because it's the pre-show and the WWE clearly doesn't care about this match, so they're just going to do whatever makes the crowd happiest.
all right, yeah, I'll go Lucha Dragons too. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the match that just got made today: the Golden Truth versus Breezango.
I think Golden Truth's finally going to get the W here. I think.
Sadly, I agree. I think that they should keep up this charade of Breeze and Fandango have their shit together. Golden Truth don't know what they're doing. They need to work it out, but they're going to work it out on Sunday.
Yeah, which is a shame because Breezango to me is so entertaining, and I'd love them to actually become a more legitimate tag team in terms of where they rank in the division. But I think really they're just a very refined catapult for Golden Truth, which is highly unfortunate. So yeah, Golden Truth for the win.
Yep. All right. Well, I mean, we're breezing right along here, pun intended, entirely. Now let's get to Ziggler Corbin, which, again, why are we doing this again?
I don't know, because Corbin already won the series of 3 matches. He's up 2-1.
Which means Ziggler's gonna win.
You know what? You're probably right, but I'm inclined to pick Corbin, honestly.
Well, I hope you do, and I hope you're right, because there's no reason that Corbin shouldn't win, but WWE 50-50 booking, I'm picking Ziggler.
And you know what, dude? This is one of those matches, and there may be a few more of these on this card, where, like, I can't even be content to be like, Ashton, you're so wrong, because it's like, no, you're really not, and that's really so tragic. But I'm going to pick Baron Corbin, simply because I don't want to think about my bodily reaction if I didn't pick Corbin, and this is really the world that we live in, so there you go.
I guess you just haven't gotten numb to it like I have.
No, I haven't, which, believe me, it's more torturous than you might think it is.
All right. Well, now we're done with the pre-show. What have we been on this for 7-8 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
We're done with the pre-show already. So now let's talk about the undercard of the main show, and let's start with the match that matters the least: Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Is it safe to assume that they're gonna have Apollo win this?
Actually, I'm thinking Sheamus is gonna win this first.
I hope he does. I want Sheamus to win this, but I just feel like Vince is behind Apollo and he's going to have him win, and Sheamus will probably be angry and attack Apollo afterwards to set up for a rematch.
I know this may not be the time or the place, but can I ask you a weird question?
Sure.
It's been kind of on my mind lately. You know, Sheamus, he just came off of filming the TMNT movie.
Yeah.
And he's bragging about being a movie star. And to me, like, the first thing that came to my mind is, wow, he's really ripping The Miz off. Could we be seeing a Miz return as a face and him and Sheamus feud for the Intercontinental title over who the bigger movie star is?
I guess that's possible, but I don't think that it would be smart to bring Miz back as a face, considering he's one of the only actual heels that gets booed on your roster.
I mean, I completely agree with you, right? But again, as you and I often say,
well, and WWE thinks that they need heels too, so I don't think that they're going to bring him back as a heel. I mean, as a face. I think they see the value in Miz as a heel, and we might even get a team between Miz and Sheamus rather than a feud.
See, now that would be the more interesting possibility to me, because, yeah, as soon as Sheamus started being like, oh, I'm a huge movie star, you guys should be asking me if I need cover, I'm like, man, if I'm Miz and I'm over here in this, like, what's my reaction? You know what I mean? So I don't know if they're gonna, flattered, possibly. But I don't know if they're going to keep that shtick up with Sheamus. I don't even really know, in all honesty, again, that's why I said it was a weird question, how it all ties back to Crews Sheamus. But I do think Sheamus is going to win the first match if, just using basic Wrestling 101 thinking, you've got to make Crews seem sympathetic somewhere. And I think him being able to take the fight to Sheamus and winning maybe a future bout, either at Battleground or SummerSlam, would do him a lot of good long term. So I'm going to say Sheamus wins the first matchup here.
Has Crews ever been sympathetic? Ever?
No, he hasn't, and that's still a problem that needs to be addressed. Now, I don't think WWE may necessarily rectify it now.
I don't think WWE even thinks it's a problem.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But I'm just going with what I think should happen, and yeah, I'm going to say Sheamus for the win here.
Okay, well, as I said already, I think they're going to give it to Cruz, and we can just move past that. But sadly, it looks like the next least relevant match on this card is, in fact, the women's tag match because there's nothing on the line, and why should anyone care? It's Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Natalya and Becky Lynch.
To me, the baby faces, though it's hard to conceive how one can call Natalia a babyface and not feel a guttural reaction inside, should win this match because I think then it could at least have championship implications leading to Battleground. If I was fantasy booking, you have this tag team win, and then you have a fatal four-way Charlotte versus Paige versus Becky versus Natalia for the women's championship. That's just pure conjecture, pure fantasy booking. But I do think the babyface team goes over here. We've already seen Charlotte kind of lay into Dana. I think that they're actually going to have a miscue. Dana's going to screw up, and the babyfaces are going to capitalize. So yeah, I'm picking Becky and Natalia for the win. Plus, the
Yeah,
title isn't on the line, so there's no
yeah.
reason why Charlotte can't take a loss here.
Well, yeah, and we've seen in recent weeks that they really haven't done anything to try and protect Charlotte at all.
Exactly.
She ate a clean loss to Paige. She had to cheat to beat, I think, was it Natalia on SmackDown?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're not really trying to make Charlotte look credible. She's basically her dad, which isn't any kind of surprise to anyone.
Yeah.
That's
More or
kind of how
less.
Rick was always booked. Was he loses? He loses some matches. It doesn't really matter if he loses matches, but anytime the title's on the line, he always finds a way to win,
Exactly.
or at least to walk out with the title, whether it's win or lose.
Right, right.
So, all right, guys. Up next, I mean, yeah. We, by the way, I don't know if I said it, but we do agree on that. I'm also picking Natalia and Becky. I think Becky is going to pin Charlotte, and it's going to lead to a triple threat: Charlotte, Becky, Paige at Battleground.
PCB finally having that triple threat. I like the way your mind works. Screw Natalia.
Yeah. Seriously, get rid of her. Up next, I hate to be doing this too, but our next least relevant match is our United States Championship match.
Okay.
I'm picking Rusev. I'm just ripping the Band-Aid off. Rusev's going to win this. Titus is going to look awful, and hopefully this is a squash.
Okay, now let me just ask you a question quite sincerely. Do you really believe this is going to happen, or is that partial denial because you're scared like I am that they may actually give the belt to Titus?
I'm not scared of that at all. There's no
Okay.
way. There is, in my mind, the chances of Titus winning the U.S. title are about as low as Alberto Del Rio winning Money in the Bank.
We also would have accepted as low as me not laughing at Zack Ryder. So,
Or alternatively, as low as, Charlotte dropping the title before SummerSlam, or Roman dropping the title before SummerSlam.
yeah. You know
Like,
what,
sure,
dude?
it's possible if things change, but let's be real.
You know what, dude? I like your confidence. I'm going to join you. I'm going to say Rusev wins this match handily, and if, for whatever reason, Titus wins the championship, well, then we just hold each other and cry, and then we forget about it in a few months, because hopefully that's how long the reign will last. Not even. I would really like a Zack Ryder in that situation. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I really don't care for Titus. It's not even me trying to be like Johnny Scumbag. Like, just the sooner we get the title reign out of our system, if they're going to do this,
You know
the
what they
better.
could do to make this interesting if they do make the horrible decision to put the title on Titus?
I have an idea what you might say, but tell me.
No, what do you think?
Do you think maybe a Darren Young Titus feud, making Darren Young great again? Maybe he guns for Titus's championship?
Exactly.
Boom. So,
We're
yeah.
gonna make Darren Young great again.
But who would be the heel in that situation, though? Because this seems...
Darren would be the heel in that situation. Why? Because Bob Backlund, that's why.
I mean, that is true. Just the vignette seems so babyface-like because of their comical value. But it would be very interesting if, like, last minute...
It seemed comical on Darren Young's side, but Bob Backlund comes off as a total doucher.
You gotta want it!
Fuck. Give me 100 high knees right now!
Okay, coach, okay. Oh man, I really can't wait for him to debut and see what we get. So yeah, you know what? I'll sign on to your confidence, and I like your fantasy booking. Rusev to retain, and just hopefully he has a reign as long and prosperous as that of Mother Russia or Bulgaria or wherever his allegiance is now. That's better than this country. So there you go.
I mean, Rusev has only had the title for like a month and a half now.
Yeah, it hasn't been a long reign at all.
Right. So I don't think they'd take it off of him this quickly either.
Right. So yeah, we both agree Rusev to retain.
Okay. Our big three matches are really the world title, the Money in the Bank, and Cena Styles. So let's talk about the New Day versus the Club versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus the Vaudevillains. And I know that there's a name for Enzo and Big Cass. Oh, the Realist Guys. That's what it is. Versus the Realist Guys versus the Vaudevillains.
Very nice. So they've got a legitimate name now besides Enzo and Cass. That's cool.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Ash? And I'll let you predict this one first.
It's for the tag titles. Oh, man. Just because it would allow them to protect the New Day. I don't think the New Day is going to lose. I really don't. But if they would lose, to protect them, I think you would probably have Gallows and Anderson win by pinning probably Enzo, because he's kind of got that scrappy underdog character where you can pin him and he doesn't lose any credibility.
Right, right.
So that would be my guess. But I'm personally predicting New Day to retain.
I completely agree with you, and here's why. One, New Day is close to being the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions in history. I think they want New Day to have that record. And two, putting records aside, because they're vacuous, they really don't mean anything, even though WWE likes to make a big deal out of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't mean anything to us and in the grand scheme of things, according to us. But the WWE makes records out to be a really big deal, because then they can jerk off to that for the next 3 months.
Exactly. And my thing, too, I think the New Day, and maybe this is, again, me projecting, and I've never lied about that in any preview and predictions video, because I believe New Day deserves this, because they've been so wonderful as tag team champions.
Yeah.
Even if it is at Battleground next month, they deserve to lose those titles in a competitive, just one-on-one kind of bout.
Yeah, 2-on-2.
Yeah, you get what I mean, 2-on-2. So I'm thinking next month we have New Day versus Anderson and Gallows, and honestly, I see New Day, just throwing this out there, I'm not saying this will be the exact combination, but like Kofi Kingston pinning Aiden English. You get the Vaudevillains out of the picture, Anderson and Gallows have their gripe, and then the Realist Guys, I gotta get used to calling them that now, will pick up their program with the Vaudevillains, so you have two separate tag team feuds, and Anderson and Gallows can focus on the title. So yeah, I agree with you, New Day to retain, and I think they're going to drop it next month at Battleground. So
I completely agree, yeah. Once you introduce Gallows and Anderson to the tag title picture, it immediately puts a ticking clock on the New Day's title reign.
Exactly.
Because those are the guys that are going to take the titles from the New Day.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better, dude.
It's just a matter of how soon.
Exactly.
And you and I agree that it'll probably be a Battleground. SummerSlam at the latest.
Yeah, SummerSlam the latest. SummerSlam I could see being the return match.
I think we're going to get a lot of title changes at this SummerSlam.
You know what? You may be right about that.
I mean, there are only, 5 titles? There's World, US, IC, Tag, and Women. So there are only 5 titles. I think at least 2 of them could change hands at SummerSlam.
Right. We'll see.
And then the next pay-per-view is Night of Champions, where every title's on the line again.
Right, yeah.
And I could see another title change or 2 there, too. I think we're going to have a bit of a changing of the guard in that August to November time period. We're going to have, I'm pretty sure every title is going to change hands over that time period.
See, what's funny is I've been thinking along the same lines as you. I don't know if I've reached the exact same conclusion.
Actually, dude, I'm sorry to cut you off, but now that I think about it, I shouldn't even say August to November. I should say July to November, because in July, brand split, draft, everything's going to happen.
Yeah, which is going to make Night of Champions even more interesting to me.
Yeah,
and that's
then we're going to have 6 titles, because they're going to introduce a SmackDown title, too.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Now, what were you saying before I cut you off?
Just really agreeing with your sentiments. I've actually been thinking probably far more than I should about the Night of Champions pay-per-view and how that's all going to shake out. Yeah, I think the next few months, WWE-wise, I don't know if we're going to see a violent shake-up that gets us all excited, because ratings certainly don't seem to indicate that.
Yeah,
but
2.03, guys. Holy balls.
Is that a kick in the nuts or what?
Just to put that in context, that's the lowest rating that WWE or WWF Raw has had since the night that Vince decided to do the Attitude Era.
Yeah. If that's not poetic, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I mean, we both agree New Day to retain. Next few months are going to be very interesting, I think, champions-wise for the WWE, given the brand split and everything else. So unless there's anything else you want to say, we can move on to our big 3 matches, I guess, would be all that's left.
The question, though, is what order do we cover them in? I mean, obviously, just for the sake of, kind of entertaining the WWE and sure, guys, yeah, we'll go along with what you're going to do. We'll talk about Reigns Rollins last. But then it comes down to What do we talk about first? Cena Styles or the Money in the Bank match?
Let's talk about Cena Styles.
I'm down with that, man. I'm looking forward to this match more than probably any other match on this card, including Reigns Rollins and the Money in the Bank match.
Right, and see, you know where my number one anticipation is. Everybody should know it at this point because I've been so obnoxious about it. But I am very much looking forward to Cena Styles as well.
Yeah.
If for no other reason, just to see, much like Kevin Owens and John Cena, how these two will work with each other. It's more of a curiosity on that front. But let me ask you, Ashton, I'm going to throw it to you. Who wins the first bout?
AJ.
You think AJ? You know what? I'm going to be honest. This is going to be unpopular. I think Cena's going to win this match.
Do you want to know my reasoning, though, beyond just, oh, Kevin Owens won their first match, therefore they're going to do the same thing, exact same with AJ Styles?
Right, what's your reasoning? Walk me through it.
AJ Styles needs credibility in this feud more than ever.
Right.
AJ Styles just spent 2 months jobbing to Roman Reigns.
Right.
And now Cena comes back and AJ sets his sights on Cena, who, by all measures of anything ever, Cena is a higher target to go after than Roman.
Right.
And we're supposed to expect or believe that AJ can beat Cena when he just spent 2 months losing to Roman.
Right.
So in order to prove that, oh yeah, guys, AJ's really good, he can beat Cena, they're going to have to show us AJ beating Cena.
Yeah. You know, everything you're saying, I think, is sound and on the money.
And that's the exact thing that you say when you're about to be like, but you haven't convinced me. I'm sticking with my pick.
We have been doing this long enough. I really, really love that. Yeah, I mean, it's complicated, right? Because I'll just be frank with everybody, and I think I may have even said this on a Raw Twit Wow. AJ's not winning this clean. I wish he would.
It's also worth pointing out that AJ Styles has literally never won a pay-per-view match in WWE.
Yeah, that's true.
His debut was Royal Rumble, which he didn't win. You know what? I don't remember. What did he do at Chamber? He might have won that. It was Jericho, wasn't it?
I think it was Jericho, and yeah, I think he did win that match.
But then, okay, so that's okay. I obviously what I said was wrong then, but still, he hasn't won a pay-per-view match since then, because then it was Mania where he lost to Jericho, and then it was 2 pay-per-views since then that was Roman that he lost, and now we're getting to Cena. And I just think that the WWE, they might not necessarily be good at doing what's best as far as long-term storytelling, but they're really good at knowing who needs a win in order to get their stock back up and giving them that. And I think AJ is in that place right now.
Yeah, you know, see, AJ should win this match. That's my bit. Like, he should win.
I don't even agree with that. I think that if you really want to tell a story, you have Cena go over, and then, I mean, AJ said, people like you bury people like me. Have Cena bury the shit out of him. Have AJ work his way up and eventually get the win. But on the other hand, that's more of a babyface story, and AJ's heel now, so maybe that's not the best idea to go with.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you if you personally felt it conflicted with your preceding sentiments that, you know, he needs credibility in this feud given the program he just got out of with Reigns.
I do. I think, well, as a heel especially, it's like if you turn heel and then your first big match as a heel, you lose, what was the heel turn's purpose in the first place?
Right. See, I don't know what kind of story they want to tell here. Because, again, like, let me just get my full thoughts out there.
The AJ story, John.
Well, of course it is. It's always a fucking John Cena story.
They want to tell the story of a new guy showing up to unseat John Cena as the guy. And then Cena losing the first match because, oh, maybe this guy's better than we thought, and then winning the next 2. Okay.
Here's how I see it. Ideally, I would like this to be a lot like Kevin Owens Cena at Chamber, where they straight up, they wrestle, AJ gets the win, just, you know, on that night. I personally don't see it that way. I think I even said it on a Raw Twit Wow. I see and I hope not, because it's going to take me out of the match so fucking fast. I think their goal as far as there to be a ref bump, and then Gallows and Anderson run out, triple team. That's how AJ gets the win.
I really hope that doesn't happen, though. That would be the worst way to do this possible.
I agree. It's just a gut feeling that I have. You know my gut feelings historically on these things.
Yeah,
No basis in anything.
good old 2014 gut feeling that Roman was going to win the Rumble.
Yeah, there you go. So close that year, too.
I don't remember, I don't know if you remember this, but you actually invested more points, more strength of confidence points in him winning the Rumble
than him being in the Final Four.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I see a ref bump, Gallows and Anderson come out, and AJ would win if they do it that way. Because AJ's a heel now, and I don't know. I think WWE's perception of AJ isn't the same as their perception of Kevin Owens. Because Kevin Owens has a look like he could beat your ass to me. I'm not saying AJ doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Kevin Owens is an overweight guy. Like,
but he seems like a very aggressive overweight guy. Like a guy that could really throw that weight around and just impose his will and beat your ass to me. That's just how he looks to me. I'm not saying AJ couldn't beat somebody's ass.
Right, but
I'm talking WWE's perception.
If we're strictly talking about look, I don't think Kevin Owens looks any more intimidating than AJ Styles.
I disagree with you there, but regardless, that's a moot point. Point is, I don't see AJ winning this clean if he does win. Me personally, something tells me that John Cena is going to win, because maybe, I think you brought up an interesting point. That whole promo, guys like you bury guys like me. Maybe John Cena gets the win, and AJ comes up with a complaint. You know, as the JBL saying goes, oh, my shoes were untied, the sun was in my eyes. AJ will find some justification of why he lost, and he wants to do it again. He needs to do it again.
But what can you do to up the stakes from that then? Because you can't just have another singles match, because that's the exact same situation we were in this time.
Again, and this is fantasy booking, I make no qualms about that. I'd actually love an Iron Man match between these two. I think that'd be freaking interesting. But I don't think it's
there's no believability in that. Cena never loses those.
Has he even? Oh yeah, well he was in one with Randy Orton and he did win that one, but I think it's the only one he's ever been in. It's not the same established match like an I Quit match where like he really never loses those because he's been in multiple of them. Either Iron Man or 2 out of 3, something that really tests the will and really brings out the competitive spirit, one or the other.
Maybe
that's how I would have.
I could see 2 out of 3, but then
he's won those too. He won a 2 out of 3 falls match against John Cena's won every freaking match imaginable. There is no match where it's John Cena.
Statistically, if you want a best chance at beating John Cena, you want a tables match.
There you go.
Because that's the kind of match that he's won the least in.
I could just see John.
It's not even just the match that he's more likely to lose it. It's just the match that he's less likely to win.
God, he's so OP, and I don't even mean that negatively. It's kind of a problem when you do creative things like this. So, yeah, I'm gonna say John Cena to win. I don't know why. I just think John Cena's gonna come out on top. It's his first big match back. They may want to set him up strong. And
yeah, and then anytime Cena loses, all the kids that buy his merch stop buying it.
Exactly. So, and especially with the ratings and everything else, they may have a knee-jerk reaction and be like, okay, we need to keep the audience that we are retaining happy. John Cena to go over.
Oh my God, you just scared me into thinking I might have to change my pick for this.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm going John Cena for the win here.
Oh my God, you're right though. He just got back. Ratings are low. What's Vince's immediate reaction to low ratings? Put the title on Cena, damn it. Oh, are they gonna hotshot Cena Roman from WrestleMania 33 to SummerSlam?
If they hotshotted Cena AJ from SummerSlam to Money in the Bank.
Oh my God, you're right. They're condensing everything.
Yeah, I'm picking John Cena. Your fear has actually only strengthened my confidence. Yeah, John Cena's winning this match, and that's going to piss everybody off, including me, for the record.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever done this before, but I'm switching my pick. I have to go with Cena now, too.
Yes!
There have been maybe like 3 or 4 instances ever that I've convinced you to change your pick. I think this is the first time you've convinced me to change mine.
You all heard it! You all heard it! It happened! Yes! I feel more validated than I should. Fuck, my life is hollow. But yes, John Cena's winning this match.
Yeah, man. I can't shake it now. You're right. Cena's freaking winning.
I just hope you don't get like pissed if AJ does win and you're like,
no.
Oh,
if that's the thing though. If AJ wins, I'll be happy because they did the right thing.
That is true. That is true.
I'd rather pick something that I think is going to happen that I wish wouldn't happen, because then it's win-win. You know, if what I picked happens, I'm disappointed by the result, but hey, at least I picked it right.
There you go.
And if
So
what I want to happen happens, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I picked it wrong, but hey, at least they did the right thing.
there you go.
There's
Wow,
no losing. I'm picking Cena.
that was quite an ordeal, but we're both picking John Cena. Wow.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
All right. I guess it's time. Since we're doing
There's no mysticism behind this. I mean, everyone knows you're picking Owens and I'm picking Ambrose, right?
yeah, so I mean, is there anything we really need to hash out here? Anything you want to discuss?
Let's just kind of go over who we think has a shot, because I think we've already eliminated Del Rio. I don't think either one of us believes he could win.
Right.
Does Jericho have a shot?
You know, I would want to say he does, only because they've really been emphasizing that he's never won one. And that's kind of implanted a little,
Well,
fearful warm in my mind.
or with like Christian and Shelton Benjamin too.
That is true. Plus, you know what? I guess we could take Jericho off the board because, again, I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop and, I've got a tour with Fozzy. Like, this isn't all that Jericho does. He just likes to come, work with the newer talent, work, some programs, and then be on his way out. So, yeah, I guess you could
He's
take
been
Jericho.
around for a while now, though. Although, rumor has it RVD might be getting a new deal, having a run here in the near future with the brand split. So Jericho might be leaving and getting replaced.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I'm comfortable taking Jericho off the board, but then again, I was comfortable eliminating Zack Ryder at WrestleMania, and we all know how that worked out.
That is true.
So, Cesaro?
Oh, man, I would love that.
See, I'll tell, and I know my reasoning may seem flawed, and I'm guessing we're going to be hearing that a lot in the last two matches here. But Cesaro already had a moment where he took out Owens and he climbed the ladder and he grabbed the briefcase.
Yeah.
Usually when guys do that on the build-up to Money in the Bank, they never win the match, I've noticed. That's just a trend I've picked up on. I'm not saying it's empirical fact.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to need to get some researchers on that.
Yeah, but every time somebody seems to climb the ladder and grab the briefcase for themselves, they don't win the actual match. So.
Unless you're Edge or CM Punk.
But did they do that, though, in the lead-up to Money in the Bank?
I'm pretty sure they did.
I don't remember them doing it.
I don't know about Edge the second time, but he didn't win it the second time either. Kennedy did.
Right.
Speaking of which, he's probably coming back for the brand split too.
Which is going to be very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep Cesaro on, but really low confidence that he's going to win. Who else?
Sammy.
Sammy, I see, and again, like, I could see him being in the final moments of this match, climbing the ladder and his fingertips brushing the briefcase.
And then Kevin Owens throws him.
Yeah, Kevin Owens or Sammy. Like, Sammy, to me, it's either going to be Sammy or Dean that has the emotionally resonant final moments of the match.
Yeah. Oh, man. You're killing me right now.
Why? With how right I'm being, or what?
Yes, with how right you're being, of course.
Because, yeah.
Why else would you be killing me?
And to me, and I say this really as a compliment, not because I'm going to revel in it, which is also true, you do better doing it with Sammy. Because he is so sympathetic and the whole underdog from the underground. Like,
see, but you know what, though? But Dean has such a fan base.
He does, and he has so much at stake because so many people are thinking Shield triple threat.
I know that this might be hard to believe because you and I are so ingrained in the NXT bubble, but I think Dean has a much bigger fan base than Sammy.
That's not too hard to believe at all, actually.
Yeah. So I think Dean would have more of like a like that visceral response you're looking for with that fingertip tease.
And here's the thing about Dean, right? And finally, maybe I have something to stand on that isn't quote-unquote confirmation bias or this and that, because I know I was really getting grilled on Raw Twit. Wow. Dean had a really momentous go-home week. I would actually say too momentous going into a pay-per-view.
You know who else had a momentous go-home week before Money in the Bank?
Who was that?
Randy Orton in 2013.
Did he? Well, it's just my feel. And see, to me, look, and I've said this before, I think Dean's a smokescreen, and I said that before, because I mean, just last year, we all thought Roman was going to win because, LOL, Roman Reigns wins. And then they did the whole Bray Wyatt angle. I don't know how you take Dean out of the equation if maybe Bray's going to come back again.
Oh, dude, Bray. Don't do that to me, John. Do not do that to me.
Dude, I'm spitballing here.
I know, but what you're spitballing is playing into my fan theory that Bray works for the Authority.
But oh yeah, that's it. You never let go of that. Oh my God, you held tighter to that than a mother does a child. But
Well,
yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, but if you're the freaking authority, who do you want nowhere near the world title?
but
Dean
but there
Ambrose.
but there is no authority, you loon. It's only
Oh,
Stephanie
I
and
know.
Shane.
I know.
Oh, I love you though. But yeah, like Dean and I get Randy Orton 2013. Okay, so it's not entirely accurate, but again,
I
Dean
feel
to
like
me
there
has
was
had.
another example of somebody who had. Oh, Kane! Kane in 2010, I think, had a really good go home week, too.
I mean, are you saying that for sure, or
I think, dude, my memory going back that far is god awful. I remember things vividly for like 2 years, okay?
here's my thing. He took out Roman and he stood tall in the Shield skirmish. He pinned Jericho that same night in a return match from SmackDown.
That could be
And
them trying to build him up so that when he wins Money in the Bank, it's credible. Because if he does win Money in the Bank, he's not going to cash it in on a weakened opponent. He's going to do it ahead of time.
I mean, Ashton. To be fair though, did you really just use credible and Money in the Bank in the same sentence?
Yeah, I did.
But when has there ever really been a credible Money in the Bank,
They
especially
don't
after they
they
win the
don't lose
briefcase?
their credibility. That's the thing. Exactly what you just said. They don't lose their credibility until after they win the briefcase.
It would seem though that they would want to do that more to a heel. Why? I mean, if Dean has such a large fan base, the last thing you'd really want him to do is to be losing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially when he has that
that's the thing though,
briefcase.
dude. The last time we had a face win Money in the Bank was Cena in 2012.
Right. It's been a long time. It's been 4 years, and
It's
and that's
it
and that's
feels like
another thing.
two, doesn't it?
Or maybe they've just found a trend that they're comfortable with. I don't know.
Oh, see, this is all the This is not. It's not just you. It's not just you, John. When I say confirmation bias, we all do it. I'm guilty of it just as much as you. It just so happens that I think to call you out for it when you do it. You know, like that's the only difference. Is I call you out for it. You don't call me out for it when I do it.
So you're an asshole. But
Pretty much,
no.
I guess.
Let's yeah. Let me think. Because I mean, yeah, we may be due. I'll give you that. We may be due. It's just I don't know because you've been doing it.
All I'm saying.
I mean, but then again, if you do it for 4 years, WWE may have found a trend that they're comfortable with. Like, okay, this is how we build heels. I don't know because again, 4 years
Oh
they've
yeah,
been
because
now.
clearly Sheamus was so well built.
Did I say that? I'm saying in their mind they think it's well to build. Obviously the build was horrible, but it's okay. Sheamus came back. He has this crazy dude that gets him heat. Let's give him something to really make him relevant. Oh, let's give him Money in the Bank. That was probably their freaking logic.
But I'm
I don't
telling you,
know.
man, they had plans for him. They really did. They wanted him to be like a major player. They wanted to push him to the moon right around now, but they, you know, prematurely ejaculated on him.
I mean, look, I'll just come out and say it. Do I have any ground to stand on for Kevin Owens? Probably not, because any
No,
land I
you
do try
do.
and find apparently
You
gets submerged
totally
in
do.
water.
You 100% do. It really does feel like it comes down to Ambrose and Owens, and it just so
Yeah,
happens that you and I are on opposite sides of that fence.
yeah. I just because to me, and see, maybe I say it as kind of a jaded fan too, and I can admit that. I think if they really wanted to do the Shield triple threat, you had so many better opportunities to do it already. I mean, I'd still care if they did do it because, oh my
See,
God, finally.
that's where I disagree with you because when you say, "Oh, you've had so many better opportunities to do it already," what if the reason they haven't done it so far is because they didn't feel like it had enough time to breathe?
That's a good point. That's a fair point. I just, at the same time, though, I don't even. Because one hit Dean Ambrose. Like, Dean does horrible in multi-man matches like these. I don't know if
So,
you think.
so you're saying he has a proper amount of credibility for Money in the Bank now, huh?
Well, why would you say that?
Well,
Oh, because
well,
I'm entertaining this idea of the Shield. Oh,
no,
I see.
no. You're talking about how Dean is this one hit wonder or one hit chump or whatever, and he can't take a hit, so his credibility is down in the dumps. Well, doesn't that fit Money in the Bank holders, John?
That is true. That is true. I don't know, man. Look, like I said, it's Kevin Owens, and I'm just going to laugh all the way when he wins. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
look, I'm not going to try and fancy it. Kevin Owens is winning. Everybody can suck it. KO for Money in the Bank
No,
2016. I mean,
yeah, dude, I'm not even trying to sway you on that. I know that you have dug your ditch and you had stuck your head in it, and you have no interest in hearing what I have to say about this.
I mean, dude, literally, I went back on my Twitter timeline, right? The first time and I think I've even said it on TwitWow for an even longer period of time. The first time I formally tweeted hashtag KO for Money in the Bank 2016 was April 4th. It's been over 2 months I've
Yeah,
been doing this shit.
you've been calling it for longer than that though. That might have been like within a week of you creating your Twitter account.
Probably because I could swear on episodes of TwitWow I've been saying it for even longer than I've been
Yeah,
tweeting it. I
yeah,
could
you have
swear
been.
by it.
I think
Now
you've been
look,
saying that since Rumble actually.
I've been saying it for a long ass fucking time, right?
Yeah.
Now look, if I'm wrong, do you know who you're talking to? I am so used to it, people. Don't think that I'm going to be offended. Like, yeah, I'll be dejected. But
Yeah.
if Dean or Cesaro wins, good for them. They deserve it. It's just, I think with Dean, and
We're all
honestly, and
gonna
I've
be
said this,
wrong, and Del Rio's gonna win, and we're gonna want to kill someone.
see, we're both going to want to kill someone then. And I will. I'll go to jail for it. It's worth it. I've done everything I wanted to do in my life. I know it's sad. I'm only 24, but I can do the time. But to me, and I've always said this about Ambrose, I'm not trying, when I say like no Ambrose, I like Dean Ambrose, but to me, and I've been saying this for a long time too, he seems so much better suited for Royal Rumble, especially if he came in at a low number. That's how I'd book Dean Ambrose. But no, because it's Roman Reigns and it's John Cena, and they're going to monopolize that whole part of the year, which really sucks because I think Dean as a babyface still has mileage left, and you could do a really great fucking story. It's either going to be this or Rumble to me for Dean, and it may very well be this. That's the thing. You're not wrong. You know, it really does come down to Owens and Ambrose. Owens has just been so freaking hot, though, and so good. I want to see him with that briefcase. Like, I don't know, man. So I'm just going Owens. Like you said, I mean, I guess I do have ground to stand on. You certainly do, because they've been teasing, you know, Shield and this and that and making a big thing about it. I interpret it as a smokescreen. It may be a spoiler. You know, they may just be like, guys, Ambrose is winning. So, I mean, it really all comes down to Sunday. So, I mean, that's what it is. Man.
Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, neither one of us is budging. I wish that this wasn't such like a line drawn down the middle, pick your side thing, because I do want Kevin Owens to win.
I know you do. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, Ashton has said to me multiple times, probably on recordings too, so you've all heard it. Like, Kevin Owens is his second pick. And to me,
my top 3 picks as far as who I think is going to win:
right,
Ambrose, Owens, Cesaro. Who I
right.
want to win: Cesaro, Owens, Ambrose.
And that's another thing too. Cesaro's getting kind of a raw deal here.
Well, actually, to be fair, who I want to win would be Cesaro, Owens, Zayn, Ambrose.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
I'm not picking Dean out of fandom.
No, you're picking Gene because that's where your logic takes you.
Yeah.
And that's totally understandable. Maybe I just hate how right you are. Kind of like you were scared about how right I was about John Cena, AJ Styles. But I think it's just a matter of principle now. Even if all the logic was on your side and the arguments were irrefutable, given that I've put so many months into saying Kevin Owens, out of principle, I've got to sink with the ship, even if it's wrong. Because ain't no way I'm going to face Stephen Herman and DBK and all those people that have joined me and be like, yeah, so guys, pick Dean Ambrose. We cool? Like, no, I would be eviscerated. And no, I'm proud to stand with Kevin Owens. I'm going pure emotion. You're going with pure logic. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way because that just seems too perfect. So, yeah, there you go.
And here I thought you were the play-by-play guy and I was the color guy.
I know. What a reversal of fortunes this is.
All right, guys. Well, we know who we're picking for that. Let's talk about our main event match: Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins.
Ashton, I'm just because I'm still feeling turned up from that Money in the Bank ladder match discussion. I'm just gonna come right out and tell you, like I told you in conversation, Seth Rollins wins, but by disqualification.
Oh, holy crap! You scared the crap out of me with that.
I probably scared the crap out of everybody else too. Look, Roman is not dropping the belt, right?
No, probably not this year even.
But Seth has made it a point that, and can I just sketch out how I see this match going down? Because Seth has always said he sees himself as 2 steps ahead of Roman.
You know what? I could see, and I know this is kind of, oh, well, it's still on topic, but it's random. I could see Seth taking the title off Roman at Night of Champions.
I could see that only if it's a multi-man match, though, because Roman is indirectly.
No, I think we're going to get Rollins Reigns, the rematch at Battleground, right?
Right.
And I think Roman We. Oh my God.
Confounding, isn't it?
No, I want to say Roman wins by cheating so bad, but I know it's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, that's a conversation we probably should have too. Well, let's just talk about it now and pull the band-aid off quick. Double turn at Money in the Bank or no?
Of course not.
You don't think so?
I want it. I want it more than
I
anything.
I want it too, dude. I want it too
But
so much.
of course not, because when you get your expectations up for the WWE, all you're doing is preparing yourself for failure.
Yeah, because God forbid we're happy. So we both
No,
agree.
they want to try and appeal to 12 and under when 70+% of their audience is 18 and over.
Right.
Retards.
So we both agree. We both desperately want a double turn, but it's not going to happen.
Dude, the only thing. How do I put this? Okay. I agree with you that we're going to get a screwy finish.
Right.
I don't even know if I want to pick who I think is going to win, because they could just do a freaking double count out. Nobody wins.
Right.
Because they love copying Lucha Underground, and we just had a double count out match a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't even know who's going to win, but regardless, nothing's going to change because there isn't going to be a title change here.
Yeah.
That said, though,
yeah.
I do think that because of the screwy finish, we're going to get a rematch at Battleground. And I think that if we're going to get a double turn, Battleground is where it would happen, not tonight.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. Look, the way I visualize it, if I'm being honest, I could see a ref bump. Seth maybe introduces a chair. Roman stops it. He looks at the chair, and given how angry he was at Seth, ironically enough, using a steel chair to break up the Shield, he beats Seth with the chair. The ref sees it. Seth gets the win. Then Seth can go on and say, well, not only did I still never lose that championship, but I did what I said I was going to do. I beat you at Money in the Bank last night on the following Raw. Right. That's honestly how I see it.
You know what? I'm going to buy into that exact thinking. I'm going to pick the same thing as you, Seth Rollins by DQ.
There you go. I mean,
yeah. They set that up. They really did a good job of setting that exact finish up during the Ambrose Asylum segment on Raw.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad to see we're in agreement, which, again, guys, our ideal situation, I mean, Ashton said it, and I just want to say it explicitly here, I would love a double turn tomorrow night, or Sunday night.
John, see, that's where you're wrong. My ideal situation is Roman Reigns has been heel since WrestleMania, and Seth Rollins returned as a babyface.
That's true. You wouldn't even have this damage control because it would have been done right the first time.
Exactly.
Fucking morons. but no,
dude. Actually, if we're talking actual ideal situation, Roman would have been the one to turn on the Shield.
Yeah,
that's the ideal situation right there. Because then Roman gets his heel run in early, and by 2015, when Vince finally decides to really pull the trigger on a Roman Rumble win, well, actually, 2015 was when they did the breakup, wasn't it? Or was it 14?
I thought it was 20.
It was 14.
14. Okay, 2014.
Yeah, you have Roman. You pull the trigger on Roman turning heel, turn on the Shield, have him be the one that breaks up the Shield. The night after, was it Extreme Rules 2014? Or was there another match or another?
Yeah, you're right. It was Extreme Rules 2014. No.
Elimination Chamber. No, that was still in February.
No, you know what it was? I think it was Payback.
Yeah,
that was the elimination tag match. Yeah.
No, Payback is between Extreme Rules and Mania, but that's the first time this year.
Right.
Extreme Rules is usually immediately after WrestleMania.
Right.
So yeah, it was Payback. You're right. Or was it Battleground?
I think
this is horrible content, John. What are you doing?
Look, actually, just Google Payback 2014 because that was the last match they had before the breakup, and I'll just keep talking here.
No, I'm not going to Google anything. The idea is you turn Roman heel that time, back then, and by now, by Money in the Bank 2016, the people are ready to embrace him just like they are Seth Rollins.
Dude, and you're right. You're absolutely right. And here is one thing I am curious about on a somewhat lighter note and on more of a fandom note. Everybody knows I love Seth Rollins, though honestly, Kevin Owens has overtaken him in that number one spot in the WWE right now, as should be a surprise.
This is an interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Seth will gain it back, but Kevin Owens has been so fucking good, man.
It's the banter.
But it's always the banter. this is going to be Seth's first work match since injury, and his whole thing has been
First
redesign.
match, first televised match.
Yeah, first televised match since,
He's been working like dark matches and
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean. Like, first match we're all going to see. And it's been all about redesigning Seth Rollins. So I'm wondering what kind of a moveset he's coming in with.
Oh, the same one.
And, probably. But, I mean, I wonder if that Vertebreaker, I saw, like, Instagram videos of it, so if that's going to be his finisher, or if that's just going to be, like, a mid-match maneuver, or what.
Because I don't think he's going to use it.
You don't think he's going to use it at all?
No.
See, I could see him bust out in this match. Absolutely, I could see him bust out.
I would
be
shocked if he used a Vertebreaker.
I wouldn't be. I mean,
That's not like one of the ultimate banned moves in WWE.
I mean, given that he used it, though, at that event, I mean, clearly WWE may be more lax about it.
Or maybe he just did it without them knowing that he was going to do it, and it was better to ask for forgiveness
Than for permission, which is equally possible. I mean, that seems to be where the best stars are, is they just don't give a fuck. They do what they want, and then when the company sees the payout, it's like, oh, you're good.
Much.
You know what? I'm still going to say that we're probably going to see the Vertebreaker in this match.
Do you know what I really wish?
What's that?
I really wish that, even if it's not at this pay-per-view specifically, I wish that whenever Seth really does decide to go full-blown face, which, I mean, estimates, I'm going to say within the next 2 months or so.
Right.
I really hope that he changes his finisher.
I want a finisher change, too, if for no other reason, because I don't like him using the pedigree at all.
I think it's perfect for his heel character.
I mean, I guess to a point, yeah, but
the entire motivation behind his heel character is he's a spoiled brat who wins on other people's shoulders. What better finisher for that character than your mentor's finisher?
True, but here's the thing, though. If we're really talking about not only just redesigning Seth Rollins and going purely by slogan, we saw on the Raw Stephanie keeping her distance and saying that the nature of the relationship has changed.
Right.
I would think Seth, being an intelligent man, would take that into account and be like, okay, I'm going to do my own thing, which is why I did put the Vertebreaker out there in the first place. Seth's going to be packing something interesting.
I'll tell you what I want it to be.
What's that?
God's Last Gift.
I remember that move. I need to see a clip of it, though. I will when we go off the air.
It's a small package driver.
Oh, that would be amazing, because Trevor Lee uses that, right, in PWG?
That's correct. Yeah, well, he got it from Tyler Black, from Seth Rollins.
Well, then Seth needs to take it back, because if we're not getting the curb stomp, which would be my ideal situation.
And Trevor Lee is in TNA, so he's not going to be in WWE at the very least until that contract runs out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because, again, my ideal situation, Seth could go back to the curb stomp, but he's just given up on that move forever because WWE, their whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say he hasn't given up on it. The WWE has. Vince has specifically.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not even going to hold my breath on that. So, yeah, that would be excellent if Seth
could use that move. Which is funny because, from what I understand, I mean, at first I heard that the reasoning was Vince thought Brock looked stupid waiting to take the move at WrestleMania.
Right.
But more recent reports, specifically from Seth's mouth, which might just be a PR cover-up story because he doesn't want people to know that Vince is that shallow to change because he thinks it doesn't look good. Vince wanted to change it because he didn't want kids trying to reenact it.
Okay.
Which is hilarious because when I was a kid, I was always trying to reenact power bombs and suplexes, not submissions. I misspoke there. And submissions, not kicks. Like I never, like when I was a kid, I wasn't trying to do like super kicks or anything like that. Like, so why the curb stomp,
No, I mean, when I would wrestle with my friends, when I would have sleepovers, we get the big mattress out, it was never kicks. It was the biggest move was the swanton.
And when in my circle of friends, it was always sharpshooters, walls of Jerichos, and then the power bombs and suplexes I was telling you about.
Yeah, see, we would do power bombs and suplexes. We never really got into our submission game.
Oh, yeah, dude, submissions were all like that was like the main thing because we did trampoline wrestling.
Right.
And so we did the flips and stuff like you're talking about, but we also did a lot of the time the three big ones. I mean, the two biggest ones were sharpshooters and Boston Crabs, like the walls of Jericho. But another one that we did a lot that was actually, I guess you could call it the hard way, how I discovered which leg it hurts is the figure four.
Ah, right.
Because, I mean, according to everybody that sells that move ever, in WWE at least, it hurts the crossed over leg, but that's the leg that's being used to hurt the other leg.
Right.
So yeah, it's but regardless, like you said, and like I'm saying, no one ever does the kicks. Like maybe drop kicks. I think we used to do drop kicks because it was on a trampoline and it made it a little easier to do. But no one's doing super kicks when you're trying to imitate wrestlers.
Exactly.
And I think that the super kick, the reason I keep bringing that up is because that's the closest thing to a curb stomp that I could think of.
Right. Um, yeah, I don't really see what the concern is, but I do like your idea for an alternative. I
God's
think
last gift, man. That cradle driver. I love that thing.
that would be amazing for Seth to use. I'm putting my money potentially on the Vertebreaker, so we'll see.
I would love it if you were right, because that move is amazing, but that's been on, like, that's such a taboo move from WWE's perspective, and it has been for so long now.
Right, right.
Whew.
I mean, we'll see, but regardless, you and I both agree Seth does win, but by disqualification, so no title change.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it, right, John?
Yeah, that's it, brother.
All right, I'm gonna close this thing out then. You know, this pay-per-view, like we kind of talked about, it's basically a 4-match card. Everything else kind of doesn't matter. But those 4 matches look really good, and let's be honest, most WrestleManias are only 3 or 4 match cards, you know?
Exactly.
So that being said, we're going to close this out. Be sure, before we close this out, be sure to give this video a like. Be sure to leave a comment down below what your predictions are for this show. Be sure to go over to Facebook, and in the search bar, type TwitWow. And our page is the official TwitWow page where I think it's a capital T. I think that's the difference. But we have our logo and stuff on there, so hopefully you'll be able to tell the difference, because there's a fake page out there that's for us too. And it's the last updated post on that one is from like 2012, so obviously that's fake. Check out Puitoff on Facebook as well. It's a wrestling community that John and I are both members in. I would say that the two biggest selling points on Puitoff specifically, and Puitoff stands for Pro Wrestling is Taking Over Facebook. Again, use the Facebook search function. It's a lot easier that way. And you can have discussions with just about everyone, including John and myself, if you want in, or if you're one of our subscribers. I've actually had this problem before. If you're one of our subscribers and you go to Puitoff, be sure to introduce yourself and say that you found it via TwitWow, because there have actually been instances where somebody was on TwitWow and I would just be talking in the same thread as them, and then it would turn out that they were somebody that got there through TwitWow, and I'd be like, oh, okay, well, hi, how are you doing? Like, you know, that kind of thing, because it's, you know, there's that connection. And then, of course, the predictions. We do these predictions every time we have a pay-per-view, and even for non-pay-per-views, like live specials for NXT and Lucha Underground, Ultima Lucha, that kind of thing. And we also post predictions in Puitoff, where it's kind of like we have our own little wrestling promotion there, but instead of wrestling matches, we have prediction contests where we have matches between 2 people, and whoever has the most correct predictions between those 2 people will win the match. And there's a predictions championship and a tag team championship and all that cool stuff. It's a lot of fun. Great community to be a part of. Also, check out the TwitWow subreddit. That's one of the 4 resources that you can use if you want to see anytime we upload a new video. First one is YouTube, just your subscriptions feed. Be sure to subscribe. Second one is Facebook, which the TwitWow Facebook page I post every video to. Third one is TwitWow subreddit, and you can also make threads there if you want. And finally, Twitter. John is at John, that's spelled with an H, John _ TwitWow. I'm at apond404, APOND 404. And John on Twitter likes to really be interactive. He talks to everyone. He tweets at a bunch of wrestlers and tries to get them talking to people too. He's very interactive. I'm a little bit more reserved, but I will reply to anything that you tag me in just about. And I will occasionally go on Twitter rants or just kind of post my thoughts on certain subjects on Twitter. Most recently, I posted my thoughts on the announced names for the WWE/NXT Cruiserweight Classic. So if you're curious to know my opinion on that kind of stuff, or if you want to interact with either one of us, or just be able to witness John interacting with Johnny Mundo and marking out about it, which is amazing. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Until then, though, be sure to tune in, because Sunday we are going to be up here with our Money in the Bank live reactions.